Ooh-wee, here we are with the World Doom League Summer 2021, Week 2, the final game of Week 2 here today, Domain versus Onslaught. I am Xenaero, and I am joined by a very special co-host today, Ralphis, the commissioner of the World Doom League and general architect of our 3 versus 3 Doom Capture the Flag beloved series of competition. Hello, Ralph.
Hey, Xenaero, thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here to be able to cast the last game of today's triple header with you. I'm very excited to watch Domain versus Onslaught.
Awesome. Well, we have ahead of us kind of an unprecedented situation where before we have not truly had an infraction broadcast, at least not in recent memory. When I say infraction, I am specifically referring to a section of the league rulebook that is on the main website of doomleague.org. Could you elaborate on that for us?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So, uh, basically, we have a rule where a player has to upload their recording of their game. And for many years, we were a little lax on that rule because we didn't have a really great way of tracking them. So it was kind of an honor system. We never really enforced the rule. However, over the past year, fortunately, Blair, who usually co-casts with Xenaero, he worked very hard to put together an entirely new website at doomleague.org. Go check it out for all the stats and cool stuff. And also, there's a demo section, and players can actually upload demos directly to the site now, so it's very easy to track. There's really no more excuses for why we can't do it. So we decided this season we're going to start tracking it. Unfortunately, OS's Dranzer was the first person to violate and to not get his demo up for last week. So the result of that is that there's 3 different levels of penalty infractions. Hopefully, we'll never see anything past the first. The first one is kind of a little bit laid back compared to the next 2, but what you're going to see this week is because Dranzer misses demo, his team is going to face what we call a power play. And in a power play, basically they're going to have to play down one player for either up to 3 minutes or until they're scored on. So you're going to see OS start this game out with 2 players, and either once Domain scores on them, their third player can come in, or if they last 3 minutes from preventing a score, then their other player can come in as well. So they do not have to necessarily sit Dranzer in this situation with the first penalty. Now, if someone is to miss a second demo, they'll be forced to sit for an entire round. And if they miss a third one, then they're just out of the league entirely. So hopefully we don't see that. I don't expect that we will. I anticipate that Dranzer are probably going to get his demo in this week, and we're not going to have any concerns like that. Everyone else has been pretty good about it. And so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. OS is definitely going to start down a man, and this is a map that might actually favor their ability to get back into it quickly, though. So.
Now, that's a great explanation, so thank you very much for that. Now, with that power play in effect, as Ralph had mentioned, Onslaught will be starting off with only 2 players, but before we get into which 2 players, or speculate rather, which 2 players they may field, we're going to go over the rosters. We're going to start off with Domain, the red team, on the left-hand side of your screen there. They lost week 1 to the Superchargers in a 3-round game that ended in 2-0. Did not go the full series, so they're looking to come back from that. Legion typically plays a hard offense. Ty with the polar opposite and hard defense. And Nexus was spotted playing kind of a mid or support role. Last week, Legion had 5 captures, Ty had 44 flag defenses, and Nexus had 1 capture off of 29 touches and 29 flag defenses for himself as well, proving that he is a very capable mid player. Will that translate to week 2? Remains to be seen, because Domain's strength is playing a strict positions game. Once that breaks down, well, we're hoping that they're going to be more cohesive than they were last week. That is a struggle that many teams tend to have in this league, and that if you get turned around, well, that's you gotta buckle up for that. Now, they're matching up against Onslaught, so they're going to have to answer for Dranzer and Daston, 2 fraggers with incredible point-and-click adventure skill. Ty may play hard defense again, but he'll need to push with his team and not allow any free touches doing so. That is going to be extremely important considering this map. You can get behind a defender fairly easily for a touch. Keys to victory for Domain will be Legion will need Nexus's ability to create chaos in order to get a high percentage flag touch out to mid. And hopefully Ty will be able to rally a hard defense here. But again, we may not see any of this. We're going to swing it over to Ralph for an overview of Onslaught.
Sure. So yeah, Domain, they're coming off that loss, like you said, hoping to turn it around. Onslaught is going to be a hard team to do that against. I've had the opportunity to practice a lot against them this week. I actually think that they might be the best team in the league on this map that we're going to see. So the 4 players that they have Dastin, who is the captain, and they have Dranzer, who's going to make them eat that penalty, but he's one of the best players in the league. And then the third, who's their third going to be? Last week we saw King Dime, who is a rookie, and he had a great first showing. They weren't able to pull out a win, but he looked great. And also they have Seneca, who's also a rookie. And I think that this week might be the first time that we see Seneca play. Last week they lost in a pretty close game to Wasted Potential 2-1. In that game, Dranzer and King Dime, you saw them both play a mid offense kind of hybrid combo setup, while Dastin was playing the defense, holding that down. Dastin had 3 pickup captures in that game. Dranzer was playing a great offense. He had 3 captures, and Dime had 2 caps, so they were spreading it around. Everybody was getting a piece of the flag there. And Onslaught they're really good at playing close, and it looks like they're good at playing on the fly. We haven't seen them with Seneca, but I imagine that you're going to see the same sort of cohesiveness translate to this week. Unfortunately, sometimes they can be shut out of enemy runs, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. When they match up against Domain, Dranzer and Dastin, they're going to need to be the wrecking ball in mid on this map, and they've shown that throughout practice this week. King Dime or Seneca, whichever one it's going to be, they need to put in that offensive work most likely to bring those flags out to mid so Dranzer and Dastin can kind of take care of the rest of any sort of problems that they might be having. They just need to get it to mid. This map's really about controlling the mid fight and getting your runner a few seconds in mid so that they can push that flag all the way to the stand. King Dime or Seneca, it's going to be a tall task. They're going against a former WDL champion, Ty. His teams have gone to the finals the last 2 seasons, so he's no joke, and they're going to have to play really hard to make this work. But I think Onslaught looks pretty good.
All right, and the betting in the World Doom League Discord, where we bet fun bucks against each other and on not only the outcome of games, but also little proposition bets where certain conditions have to be met. But as far as the team goes, Onslaught is favored by a factor of 70% to 30%. But thank you for the analysis on Onslaught. And we talked about the map a whole bunch. Well, we're going to bring you an overview of the map right now.
Welcome to Map 26, Church of Ty. Church of Ty is a wide-open map with little hard cover and a mega armor in the middle. An alternate route to the right side of the enemy base gives you more hard cover and a rocket launcher in the corner. Another alternate route to the left side could potentially allow you to take the enemy's green armor and make a capture attempt. Matches are played in a best-of-3 format, where the team that scores 5 flag captures, or the team with the most flag captures at the end of 10 minutes, is the winner.
And we're back, and we're going to get right in the server here in just a second. Is there anything you want to touch on, Ralph, before we get underway?
Not in particular, but we'll vamp a little bit. As far as this game, I think it's going to be a great game. Today, we've seen 2 games earlier that were both really good. We saw Dosu and Friends versus the Electric Bills at 1 o'clock Eastern. Very close game. Ended up being a tie, which I don't think anyone really expected to see on this map. Then we saw another game that was a lot closer than the score indicated between SXP and WST. And I'm hoping that this one is just as close. We're looking at, after this game is over, we're 40% of the way through the regular season. This season has been very successful so far, thankfully, and we're really rolling right through it. And all the teams look like they're competing. So I'm very proud of all 10 teams, and I hope that this is a great game, and I can't wait to see how the rest of the season shakes out.
Yeah, as Ralph had mentioned, we are 40% way through after this game. The regular season is 5 weeks long, which means that each team has 5 shots to make their mark to get a playoff berth. Now, is there anything in particular that will separate the wheat from the chaff as far as playoff contention goes?
You mean just in general? I mean, it all comes down to points, right? We're just, the best are going to make it, and I think some teams are still kind of finding themselves. We're only 2 weeks in. Time is going to start ticking. Starting next week, things are going to start getting tighter. If you don't have a win yet, you still got 3 games left, but you're going to need to get those points. So I think we're going to see it come down to a Week 5 playoff race for almost all the teams. And it's really anybody's season, it looks like, at this point.
That's right, and we're talking about points. Well, what that means is, based on the result of any match, you get any number of points. With a 2-round win, you get 4 points on the board. A 3-round win gets you 3 points. A tie will get both teams 2 points. A 3-round loss will get you 1 point. And a 2-round loss will get you absolutely nothing. So playing for even a 3-round loss is very beneficial in a 5-week season to get as many points on the board as possible. And I assume that we're just waiting on... Oh no, yeah, the OS is sitting 1 player, and we will be starting off with, I believe, Dranger and Daston against Domain's Nexus, Tie, and Legion. Whenever that call vote restart ends up occurring on the field. And again, a shout out to all the people at home tuning in today. If you missed any part of this broadcast or even any of the games this week, the ones that were broadcast are up on our YouTube account at youtube.com/doomleague.org, or you can go to our website at doomleague.org, where we have not only statistics but also a whole bunch of fun stuff for you to look at, including match times translated to local times, and a forums, and a link to our Discord as well, where not only do we have communication with a lot of other players and pick up games every once in a while, but we also have a betting bot where you can wager imaginary fun points on the result of a whole variety of situations. And I think we're just waiting for them to... Oh, go ahead.
Just to touch on doomleague.org, a lot of things are constantly changing there. Blair is constantly updating it and refining it and making it better. So before we start this game, I just want to say, check out doomleague.org. You can look at all sorts of old results. You can look at every player's stats. You can a lot of cool stuff on there. So go check it out. Looks like this game is getting ready to get started.
And we have a call vote restart, which means that both teams should be ready. Just need one more vote, and we got it. Round 1 of Domain versus Onslaught is beginning. We're going to start off watching Nexus grabbing a super shotgun, heading out to mid. Blue armor is pivotal. It does reduce your incoming damage by 50%. Very crucial in flag runs. Ty cannot get past his own teammate or the enemy team, but that is the first touch of this round. Moving over to Dranger, and then back to Ty as the Ty touches the flag again. Ty in an offensive role this game. Sort of unexpected considering his role in week 1. Legion with a touch. Green armor. And moving out to mid. Is the coverage where it needs to be. Intercepted and returned. Go ahead, Ralph.
OS doing a great job on this power play so far. I mean, we're 40 seconds in. They're able to hold them off to this point, and a ton of time. They're about a third of the way through almost.
Only 1 minute has elapsed on the clock, as we mentioned in the map overview. 5 flag captures, or 10 minutes, whichever happens first. Nexus can barely get across before the chain gun comes in hard for OS to return their flag. No scores as of yet, which we've seen in previous games this week. Usually within a minute, it's like all hands on deck, getting as many flag captures as possible. Both teams playing pretty defensive. Ty across, needs the coverage. The coverage is there, 10 health. Squeaking across to score at 1-0 for DM. Seneca. Can't get past the archway. Legion. Out to
So
mid.
Seneca in the game. This is his rookie appearance here. You have to wonder if there's going to be some nerves coming in such a situation after the power play, as Legion takes it right across. Oh, but a huge
return there from Daston. Excellent work. And as we noted, that one capture has allowed Seneca to join in the game, starting off his rookie game.
Yeah, and on Domain, you're seeing rookie defender Nexus really doing a great job kind of tempering this offensive threat from OS, as he's kind of shutting everybody down at the moment.
Yeah, Nexus playing a smart forward defensive role. Moving up to mid when possible, but Dranzer came up behind him, grabbed the flag, and shut him down. But all three members of Domain are staring him down. Seneca does get a pickup, though, and that's huge with the blue armor, just weaving between all the players of Domain and grabbing the flag right out from under all three of them. Fantastic work from Seneca to be there to pick up the flag and escort it to the rest of the way.
You said it, Xenaero. Incredible awareness by Seneca there. Rookie coming in, scores his first flag in the WDL because he's aware enough that the flag is right there. He's only got to take it a short distance while his team is respawning and covering him. Did a great job converting that into a score.
And both flags off the pedestal. Dranzer out to mid. His teammates have returned it, but is the health enough? It got dropped up on the pedestal, and last second return. Excellent return, but Seneca's back on the pedestal to grab the flag again, and it is a mutual return.
Yeah, great hustle by Domain there to get, they did not give up on that run. One thing about this map, you have a clear path almost from flag to flag, and there's a lot of chain guns. That chain gun could do serious damage on this map in a way that it doesn't in other maps, so you just never want to give up on a defensive stand, and there they were able to stop it.
And Legion out to mid. There's a chain pickup, but it wasn't enough. The green armor does help with 1/3 damage reduction, but it's not like you have a mega armor, and you also have to clear distance between yourself and the rest of the enemy team. There is a pickup from Dranzer, hoping to carry it the rest of the way. Now, bringing Onslaught up 2-1 in a round where they initially started down by one player.
That's right, and huge credit there to Dranzer, who started that play off by spawn fragging as his team grabbed the flag. Now, they got the flag across. They weren't able to walk it in initially, but Dranzer assisted his runner across the map, came back out for the flag, and he was able to convert it. Huge play by Dranzer there for the second flag for OS.
Swapping over to watch Legion for a second, who has been applying some offensive pressure. Until we go back to Dranzer for a flag touch. It's caught on the stairs, and then there's simply no way out from there. But Seneca does get a pickup, and it does get returned. But that does buy them a little bit of time. All that offensive pressure forces Domain to respond in a way that takes them out of mid. Dranzer with one touch. Quickly drops Seneca with a pickup. Seneca doing an amazing job of picking up and escorting a carrier.
Yeah, thus far, Seneca has had a great showing in this game. He already has 22 frags. He came in later than everybody else. He's grabbing flags. He's playing defense. He seems to be fulfilling a mid type of role, and he's doing a pretty good job at it.
Well, we touched on the topic of frags. While not a true indicator of a team's strength, seeing Onslaught with 10 frags over their opposing team, considering they started down.
Great run by Legion here. Very shrewd run by Legion. Legion knew that if he took that flag, he was able to get out to the stair side. And the stair side to the opposite side, you just hug the right side of the map when you're coming out. That's going to be the shortest path for you to get base to base and have cover. And and he used that to his advantage, and he was able to burn Onslaught and turn it into a score and tie this game up.
It was great awareness by Legion as well to know the positions of the enemy team to take the path where he would be less likely to be blasted or even spotted. So great work from Legion there. And a mid-return of the flag right afterwards. Legion tries to get it out. And Dranzer and Seneca doing work in the enemy base. They're pretty much right on top of each other, if not escorting, then picking up the flag and carrying it a distance further. Excellent teamwork that you sometimes don't see in other teams, showing that Onslaught does have the cohesion needed to apply effective offensive pressure.
Absolutely. And you could see Dranzer making a great run here, possibly able to convert as he walks behind the opposing team instead of going to the position that they probably thought that he would be in. Oh, but he's unable to...
Body blocked, has to return his own flag, and it finally goes down, and it's a return. Or what was that, a score?
No, Onslaught actually scored there.
Onslaught scored.
In the chaos, Onslaught was able to put that flag on the sand. Dranzer, again, doing a great job.
The next Doom captured flag for you folks. Stuff happens so quickly right in front of us. Sometimes it's hard to tell in the absolute chaos. But great work from Onslaught. Even in the scramble to return their own flag, they were able to get one more point on the board. And that takes them up by a factor of just a margin of one flag as we hit the 2-minute warning.
And credit to Domain. I mean, they are playing pretty well here. They're, for a team that most people, the consensus, you know, the rumblings in the community was that Onslaught was going to come in here and pretty much roll over Domain, and so far we're not seeing that. So credit to them. You know, any given Sunday. That's what they say, right?
Any given Sunday. It's true both in Meat Space and also here in the World Doom League, where players compete from all over the world, multiple continents, multiple time zones, which you know, it can be challenging to get a game time aligned.
Legion is running some pretty good routes here to the flag. Unfortunately, there's just not enough. It looks like there's not enough help for him in the middle, and he's going into the enemy base with so much damage taken.
Had a great point-from-point run from Seneca, going end-to-end at the speed of light with green armor, barely protecting him from going down. From red pedestal to blue pedestal, putting one more point in Onslaught's pocket as we get under a minute left in the round.
Yeah, absolutely. Great rookie showing here from Seneca, proving that he belongs in this league and that he was drafted for a reason. And OS, credit to the rest of the team for really pushing Domain into that base. You know, Onslaught is really pushing them so hard they're unable to get their bearings straight, unable to not only resume their defense, but to have an offense to pull everybody out of the middle. So Onslaught is doing a great job, living up to their name. This is an onslaught of offense against Domain right now.
As the timer ticks down and another capture is no longer possible in round one, teams will get the duration of 1 minute between rounds to talk about what they can do better, what they can change up, and also decompress from a very tight first round here in this best-of-3 series between Domain and Onslaught.
Yeah, and I think for Domain, you know, they have this minute to kind of reflect on what just happened. They had a score in the power play. So if you accept that moment, you know, they only scored one flag outside of that power play. They need to get their offense running here. And the way that they can do that, their biggest problem, it looks, in this first round was that the mid was not really there. You know, the mid needs to kind of be regulating Dranzer and Dastin from being able to push out and allow Seneca and Dranzer to just run wild in that base. Also, if you look at the frag differential, Onslaught has 43 more flags in the first round, 223 to 180. Domain really needs to just kind of take over that mid. That's going to be the best chance of success here for them. They have the personnel to do it. We're going to see if they make those adjustments.
Well said, and as we get into round two, bear in mind that there is no power play that takes place in round 2. Both teams have their full rosters available. Seneca with an opening touch, looking to add more flags on the board. Daston, no dice.
And Ty is a veteran captain, many accolades to his name. He needs to get his team straight here.
Getting covered
like
right now.
Gone.
Yeah, that coverage at mid is where it needed to be.
Yeah, and Ty was able to get one kill, but he just wasn't able to lock on to Dranzer as he went across mid. And as we were talking about in the intermission here, Onslaught just controlled mid. They're just asserting dominance in a way that Domain is not able to recover from those sorts of runs where a flag is dropped and Onslaught is able to pick the flag back up and have another teammate running across the map.
Seneca does not have the armor to protect it from that chain gun, but does get it across to the middle fountain area, but it does get returned.
And we're starting to see now Domain is trying to get back into mid, but they're pushed in so far here. They really need to calm down. Now here's an opportunity for Ty, and he grabs the flag, and the flag is in their base. Can they walk it up? They do.
It does get chained between multiple players of Domain to tie up round 2, 1-1. They're going to need to get a few more of those to push to round 3 to avoid a week 2 loss.
And already we're starting to kind of see a discrepancy between those frags again. You know, it's early in the game, but it's already 39 to 32, 33 frags. So Onslaught is definitely fragging at a higher rate. And that's going to give them, it's proven that the more you frag, if you're able to, that's going to open up opportunities for your runners that otherwise they're not going to have. So Domain needs to try and keep up with this team. It's going to be a hard task to accomplish.
Onslaught most certainly has the momentum coming out of round 1 with that victory. And their domination of mid, I mean, we just watched Seneca run almost uncontested from the base across mid into his own base with 80 health. And he had no armor to buffer any damage, so that was excellent running from Seneca and great coverage from the rest of Onslaught to secure the second flag.
Absolutely. You bring up an incredible point there, which we just need to point out about Onslaught. Dranzer was absorbing so much damage standing behind Seneca on the way. Dranzer only had 2 health left by the time that Seneca made it in that base for that score. Dranzer was the armor for Seneca there, and that's the type of plays that propel a team deep into the playoffs. Great play by Dranzer, great play by Seneca. Onslaught is really firing on all cylinders right now.
Legion, meanwhile, has 5 health going out green armor side, but it is swiftly returned. Ty, typical defender of Domain and team captain, covers himself a little bit, gets some help from his teammates, has to get that flag pedestal, but is intercepted in a last-second return from Seneca.
Yeah, and that's very disappointing. You know, that looked like a run where they should have been able to convert. They weren't able to clear the base out. They just need to clean it up. There's a ton of time left here, 6 minutes and 30 seconds.
Dranzer is almost free and clear, but not quite. It does get picked up, but then returned again. Very close to getting away. Now, not many runs I've seen with blue armor capable runners as we saw in a previous game this week. So it comes down to covering yourself and your teammates. The flag does get dropped at mid. Seneca picks it back up.
There's another example of Onslaught controlling mid to the point that they dropped the flag and they were able to come right back out. Seneca was able to pick up the drop flag at the mouth of his base because the rest of his team was controlling mid. They were stopping Domain from pushing in, and once they got it across mid, they were able to easily convert it. So now Domain is up against some serious, they're looking at 3-1 with about a half a game left here. They need to win this round to be able to win this game.
That's exactly right, and even if they can't stop the offensive pressure, they cannot free up their personnel to control mid. There just isn't. There isn't 5 players on a team. There's only 3. You have to deploy them thoughtfully.
Now, since our earlier comments, they have caught up in the frag game. They're only trailing by 9.
Yeah, it's in a map like this. That's roughly parity between 2 teams. I mean, a discrepancy of 10 can be expected on a map with a couple different choke points like this. Legion is
Now,
out to
Ty
mid. Oh,
had great cover for Legion there. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to get it out. And looks like Onslaught's going to be able to capitalize on it. Legion and Ty both die at the same time. It puts them behind the runner. Ty gets a great grab here, though. And if he can get support, he's across.
the support, unfortunately, isn't there for Ty or Domain. We just watched Seneca run that flag. Again, his debut game, squeaking across with 5 health while his team is at his back.
And huge credit to Dastin, the captain of Onslaught, rookie captain. He's been a great player in this league, especially over the past couple seasons where he's really ascended to an elite talent. He tried his hand as captain this season, and right now he's leading his team to a likely victory, it's looking like. As he actually...
Whoa. It's chaos over there. We saw Dranzer sit at the mouth entrance of the base trying to intercept the runner, but to no avail. Domain does get one capture, but there is... Dranzer just runs it back to end round 2.
So, a great game by both teams. Onslaught came out firing. They're just overwhelming Domain. I think it really came all down to mid play. It's really hard to pick out one player in particular from Onslaught that is probably the MVP of this game, but I would have to say that in spite of his penalty that he put against his team, Dranzer, in my opinion, was likely the MVP of this game for Onslaught. He played all positions. He scored. He defended. He acted as armor for other players' runs. He was incredible this game, and if they continue to play like this, they're going to be a real formidable team when the playoffs show up.
And a truly phenomenal showing from rookie Seneca. I mean, rookie captain, rookie player. Onslaught has it all, and they have the wings to prove it now. And the team cohesion was unparalleled in that game, ending in 2 rounds. Onslaught will get 4 points on the DoomLeague.org leaderboard, putting them in much greater contention for the playoffs, for a good playoff spot, rather. And Domain, unfortunately, will get 0 points, suffering a 2-round loss. Is there anything you want to talk about? Maybe we could go over the stats.
Sure. Working on processing them at the moment. If you could just bear with me here.
And while our stat system is pretty comprehensive now, we've made leaps and bounds with it in recent memory. And the website allows us to get the stats up for a game a lot quicker than before. Sometimes there would be a little bit of a delay, but we could feasibly work in talking over the stats nowadays. But again, like when you're talking about Onslaught and Domain, you're talking about a great cap to the end of week 2. Now, for everyone watching from home in the chat, there is a link to the stats page for Onslaught and Domain. Now, going over it, obviously it was over in 2 rounds, and there's a discrepancy of 6,000 damage points. And let's see what else is interesting in here. The KDR for Onslaught was 120 compared to a rating of 83 for Domain. So the power from Onslaught coming out to mid, coming out to the map in general, they were just completely dominating the entire pace of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that is a huge indicator, we did a lot of analysis of what type of plays by an individual player create a winning round. And one of those factors that is a huge one is a positive kill death ratio. And if you head over to doomleague.org and you look at these stats, you'll see that Onslaught's KDR is just phenomenal compared to Domain's. And that sort of performance is usually going to lead to a win. Dastin had 175% KDR. That's a pretty big deal. You don't see numbers like that very often in this league. Dranzer himself had 123% across both rounds. Only Nexus had a positive KDR on Domain, which indicates that Onslaught was really pushing them into that base. punishing them and really not letting them breathe. You're going to see a lot of that if you were to go back and watch the replay. You're going to see a lot of spawn killing by Onslaught on Domain, where they just were unable to kind of get things together. Domain played very well. They played valiantly, but Onslaught just put out a great performance. All three players posting rat scores above 100, which means that a score above 100 indicates that they've done enough to likely win the game. It's just they just played great. All three players played great, and Onslaught looked awesome this week.
And what do we have to look forward to next week, Ralph?
So next week, we're going to be heading to a more known map that's been played in the past, Redshift. The players know it well, unlike this map where it was kind of a new learning process. We're going to see players that probably already know this map. It's going to really be about refinement and just making teams work cohesively. The map does have a blue armor in the middle. That's going to be a factor. There's probably going to be some good matchups this coming week here.
And
we have Demos Patriots versus Onslaught. That should be a pretty good game. The entirely Euro team versus Dastin's team that just won today. That should be a good one. We're going to have a battle of the two teams that were not able to win this week between Wasted Potential and Domain. Domain right now is sitting at 0 wins. They're going to have an opportunity to possibly win. Wasted Potential did win in week 1. They're trying to secure a playoff spot. If they can get a win this coming week against Domain, they're going to look good. Probably the game of the week, if I'm looking at the schedule, it's looking like Sexual Panthers versus Techno Vikings. Time at the moment undetermined. We don't know when they're going to play that game, but those are two pretty strong teams. Techno Vikings did eat a loss this week, but they're very good. And SXP was able to turn things around and win. Both teams have played rip and tear, so it'll be interesting to see how that all pans out. Everybody, just head to doomleague.org. You can look at the matches page to see when games that are scheduled are going to actually kick off next week. We do try to set games up in a way that there are double or triple headers, so all the games can happen one day. Teams can practice together, and it's better for the players and better for the viewers as well.
All right, and that will close out week 2. Thank you so much for joining us, Ralphis.
Thank you. It was great to be here with you. Hopefully I can do 1 or 2 more with you sometime this season. Definitely not trying to replace Blair. He's great. So I look forward to hearing him again next week with you. And thank you. I really appreciate it.
And thank you to the viewers at home for watching the live broadcast here. Be sure to head to our YouTube to see all the VODs this season that we've been able to cast so far. But for now, we're going to wave goodbye to you. Happy Sunday, and see you next week for week 3 of the World Doom League.